lovelies. Welcome to your Scorpio yoga class. My name is Natasha, also known as Nurse Natasha. I love my little Scorpio babies. Maybe it's because I'm also a water sign. I feel like Scorpios kind of get a bad rep. I like them. I love you guys. Yeah, so as always, make sure you have yourself set up for success. So you have any props that you need with you. You know, I have my blocks here. I have my strap, a pillow, bolster, blanket, whatever you need for your practice, have it nearby. And I try to offer as many variations as possible to make this as accessible as possible. Just remember to listen to your body. Everything I say is an option, not an order. You do what works best for you. So, my Scorpios, let's talk about you. The dates for Scorpio are roughly, again, this is just a rough estimate, of October 23rd to November 22nd. This kind of changes year to year. Scorpio is a water sign, which I feel like people, it's like with Aquarius, people always think Aquarius is a water sign, but it's actually an air sign. Scorpio, I feel like people think is not a water sign because it's like a scorpion, but it is. I think that Scorpio is definitely the fieriest water sign. I do have some lovely Scorpio friends, and for me, how I know Scorpios is very just different in their own way, does their own thing, kind of mysterious, kind of quirky. They have, you know, that's why I like them, I think, because I'm also that way. I do have, I believe my Scorpio, I do have my Pluto is in Scorpio, which Pluto is the planet that rules Scorpio, and Pluto is kind of the planet of death and rebirth and transformation. And in tarot, Scorpio is ruled by the death card. Now, I know everybody freaks out, you know, oh my gosh, the death card, someone's gonna die. No, that's not what it means. I think what a lot of people forget is that the death card represents death and rebirth. I've seen it depicted in some decks as death and then rebirth. In the Way Home Tarot, which is one of my favorite decks, made by one of my favorite Scorpios, it is depicted as a kind of deer that has passed, and there's crystals and mushrooms and things growing out of the carcass because something has to die in order for you to be reborn, and that's the very Scorpio energy. Yeah, and as I talk about in all of these classes, make sure you check out your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Do the classes for the sign and any of your planets. And as I also talk about in every one of these classes is, again, the light and dark side of the signs. Again, I said that Scorpios kind of get a bad rep. I think it's because people don't understand Scorpios. Scorpios are often very misunderstood. And, you know, but again, the positives that I know from the people I know who are Scorpios is you guys are just so unique and mysterious, and I like that, and just different, and kind of keep to yourself. And as, of course, as a water sign, emotional, you know, as a Pisces, I understand, but it's very important to look at both the light and dark aspects of each sign, and not to attach judgment or this is bad, this is good about the sign, just to look at it from a neutral perspective. In the body, which is what we're going to be focusing on, Scorpio rules the liver, the sacrum, so the sacral area, the hips and thighs. So it is the sacral chakra, which I think in and of itself is kind of the chakra of death and rebirth, because in our hips, in our sacral chakra, this is where we store our traumas, our emotions, and of course in our sacral area, that's kind of, you know, where we give birth. And something has to die or release there. We have to release, let go of that old stagnant trauma. It has to die so we can be reborn. So that's what we're going to be doing today, my lovely Scorpios. We're going to be focused on the hips, the sacral area, the thighs. We're going to open those up. We're going to get things moving around. I've described this in a few of my classes before, but if you imagine your pelvic bowl with your hips, where we're going to work on today, as an actual bowl, the emotions and the trauma that we store in there is like water. Again, Scorpio is a water sign. So imagine all that water energy kind of sitting in your hips, in your pelvis. And as we start to do this hip opening yoga, and we start to open this bowl up and kind of shake it all around, that water starts to spill out. That's what we want. We want it to spill out. We want to release and let some of that stuff die so we can be reborn. So I will stop talking. I'm pretty sure I covered all of it. The last thing, Scorpio, of course, is represented by a scorpion. I think that's pretty obvious. All right, my friends, we're going to get started. So we're going to get started in a child's pose. So set yourself up for the child's pose you find most comfortable. Make sure to keep the knees wide, make space for the belly and thighs. Honor your belly and thighs. And again, if there's something that you need in your child's pose that makes you feel good, maybe you want to lay on a bolster or a pillow or a blanket or sit a block underneath your hips, you can do that because we'll spend some time here. But I like to set up for mine with my knees as wide as the mat or even a little wider, sinking those hips back to the heels. They do not have to touch, just intentionally pressing those hips back. And then walking the arms out and dropping your chest down to the mat, extending out the arms, and just releasing here. Now once you're here, you can rest the chin or the forehead on the mat. I like to do my chin because I have glasses, so putting my forehead down is a little complicated, but just relaxing here in this child's pose. And starting to bring your awareness to your breath. Just noticing it as it goes in and out through your nose. And as you inhale, filling up. And as you exhale, sinking deeper into the mat. Releasing deeper into those hips. So with every exhale, try to encourage those hips down towards the heels. Getting right into this sacral chakra. And just allow your breaths to get deeper and longer. And just start to check in here. Start to take inventory of the mind, the body, the soul. Ask yourself, how does Scorpio energy show up for me in my chart? What is the placement? And how does it show up in my life, in my personality? Just taking inventory. Again, non-judgment, non-attachment, not judging yourself or anything or attaching yourself, just being an observer. And then maybe asking yourself, what do I need to let go of? Is there anything that I need to allow to die in my life or to be released so I can be reborn, so I can have this fresh start? Again, try not to get too attached. Just let those thoughts go by. And if you find yourself getting attached, I want you to take a big inhale in. And open mouth, exhale, release. We'll start to invite in some movement here. So you can inhale here and exhale. Walk those hands over to the right. So taking a side stretch here in your child's pose. Feeling that stretch in the left side of your body. You don't have to walk too far over. And just create some expansion in this left side. Breathe into that space. Inhale, walk the hands through center. And exhale over to the left. Now feeling that expansion in the right side body. And gently inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release. And then on your next inhale, you can slowly rise. And we'll take a seat on our butts. So you can take any seat that you feel comfortable in on your butt. We are going to take some seated folds here. So you can feel those sit bottoms beneath you. You might need to scooch some goodness out so you can feel that. We're going to start with some figure 4 stretches here. So you can extend that right leg long. The left knee bends and comes in to place the foot bottom on the inside of that right thigh. Square yourself over that right leg. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Now, I don't care how deeply you fold here. You don't have to touch your toes. You can also use a strap here to kind of encourage yourself down. Just folding here. Getting right into that sacral area that my loves, my lovely scorpions. Scorpios. I like scorpions, so. Breathing here. Maybe inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold a bit deeper. And then inhale, rise, exhale, release, switch out the legs. So left leg extends, right knee bends, foot comes into that left thigh, squaring yourself over the left leg. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. And when you maybe start to feel, things come up as we start to open the hips, bring it back to your breath. Use your breath as a tool to process through those things and release. Maybe inhale, lengthen here. Exhale, fold. And inhale, go ahead and rise. Now we'll bring both the feet in, feet bottoms together to touch, knees opening. You can place blocks underneath your knees for some extra support here. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, we fold. Folding with a straight spine here. The best analogy I like to use for this fold and also the wide-legged fold we're going to take next is, you know how Barbie, her torso moves independently from her legs? That's how we want to fold here. We're folding torso and our legs are kind of staying where they are. So hinging from the hips, hinging from that sacrum, that sacral area. Maybe inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold a bit deeper. And inhale, go ahead and rise. Now we'll extend the legs out for a wide-legged fold. It doesn't have to be super wide, just as wide as what feels comfortable. Again, we inhale, lengthen, and exhale like Barbie. We hinge just from the hips so the legs stay where they are. Keeping that straight spine. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Now we will take a twist here. This is called Half Lord of the Fishes. So you can bring both legs out in front of you. Now we're going to start with the right leg. So we'll bend the right knee. You're just going to bend it. Place the foot bottom on the mat. Now option to cross this over the other leg and place your foot bottom on the other side. I have very short legs. And we got those big old thighs. So that's not going to happen. So we're going to stay right here. This is more comfortable for me. Do what works best for you and your body. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist over that bent knee. So you can gently kind of grasp this leg to twist. You can also hook that elbow to the knee. You can tent those right fingertips behind you and gaze over that right shoulder. Now think long and tall here. So keeping a long, tall spine as we twist. Maybe inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist a bit more. And inhale, come back to center, exhale, release, switch it out. So extending the right leg long, bending the left leg in. Again, you can cross over the leg if you'd like, if that feels good for you. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Again, you can gently grasp that left thigh. You can hook the elbow to the knee, tenting left fingers behind you, gazing over that left shoulder. Staying nice and tall. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release. We will slowly transition to a tabletop. Take your time. Coming to hands and knees. As always, place some support under your knees, like a pillow or a blanket, if that feels good. Stacking the shoulder, elbow, wrist, stacking hips over knees. Now we're going to take some hip circles here. So it's going to feel a little bit funky. But what I want you to do, we'll start with the left leg so I can demo here for you, is just lift that left knee out to the side, knee is bent. So you're kind of like a dog with a fire hydrant here. And I want you to just take that knee into circles forward. So like you're drawing a circle with your knee. They don't have to be big circles. You can keep them nice and small. But we're getting into that hip joint here. Now take it in the opposite direction. So drawing your circle with your knee in the opposite direction. And then go ahead and release. Take it to the other side. So lifting that right knee out to the side and just circling forward. And then take it backwards. And go ahead and release. Shake it out a little bit. All right, we're going to find ourselves in a downward facing dog. So you can tuck those toes and inhale those hips up and back. Pressing palms into the mat, driving heels down towards the mat. They don't have to touch. Pressing that chest towards the thighs. And find some movement here. Maybe pedal the feet. Maybe shake the hips or the head. Option if you'd like to take a little hip opener. You can step the left foot to center. Inhale that right leg up and back, and then exhale, bend at the knee, opening the right hip. This is just an option. Release when you're ready. Switch out the feet. Inhale that left leg up, bend at the knee. Again, just an option. And release. We'll find some stillness here. Inhale, gaze to the top of our mat, and exhale, travel there, whether it's baby steps or big steps, finding yourself in a forward fold. And just doing what feels right here. Maybe ragdolling, maybe grabbing for opposite elbows, swaying from side to side. Now you can find some stillness here. Grab a hold of your blocks. We're just going to use these underneath our hands here. So we're going to take some twisty folds. So I want you to bring your right foot to center, and your left leg's going to twist or cross behind it. So you're crossing your legs here. You can use these blocks for support underneath your hands, and you can bend into your knees as much as you need to bend into your knees here. Getting into this full sacral area here, the hips and the thighs, and the IT band, low back. Now gently switch out the legs. So left foot comes center, right foot crosses behind. And again, you can bend into the knees and kind of sink into this. This one is an intense release for me. So allowing yourself to feel that release. Exhale out what needs to die, what needs to be gone. And go ahead and release. Come back to your forward fold. Widen those legs. Hands to blocks or to shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, just really slowly roll up to standing. And exhale, release here in your Tadasana, standing mountain pose. All right. We're going to flow through some half sun salutes here with a chair pose to continue to get into that sacral area. So Find the foot position you like for your chair pose. Some people like feet hips distance or wider. I like mine big toes together to touch with a sliver of space in between my heels. Find what works best for you. We're going to flow here. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, sink into your Utkatasana chair pose. So you're sitting your butt back into your little chair. You don't want to arch the back. You want to tuck the pelvis so it's nice and straight. Arms can be extended overhead or at the heart center, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, release and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink to chair. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, release and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. The last one here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink to your chair. Maybe sink a little bit lower here. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, release and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. And exhale, hands to your heart. Take a moment here. Take a moment to feel. Take a moment to check in. Is there anything coming up for you? Is there anything that needs to die, that needs to be released? Use your breath to let it go. Take a big inhale in through the nose. And open mouth, exhale. All right, my lovely Scorpios. We're going to get deeper into the hips here, do some standing postures. I'm going to make sure my blocks are at the top of my mat where I can grab them if I need them. From standing, I'm going to bring my hands to my hips. I'm going to bring my right foot to center, and I'm going to step my left leg back into my high crescent lunge. So stepping back into a deep lunge here. My right knee bends over my ankle. I'm on the ball of the back foot. My hips and torso are square to the front of the mat. And when I find this stable base, maybe inhale, raise the arms. Breathe here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, open the hips and the arms to a warrior 2. So I'm going from a closed hip to an open hip. Right knee stays bent over that ankle. Back foot spins to flat. And I find my warrior 2. Take a second to make sure those shoulders aren't shrugged up to the ears. And gaze over those front fingers. Inhale, shift the upper body forward. Exhale, find an extended side angle. So this is where your block can come in underneath that right hand. Hands are at 12 and 6 o'clock. Or you can also take a more lateral side bend here by bringing this right forearm to right thigh and taking that side bend. Doing what feels good for you here. Inhale, use the core to rise. Exhale, flip the front palm. Reverse your warrior. Check in with this front leg here. Make sure it stays bent. And inhale, rise. Exhale, we're going to release to the front of the long edge of the mat. So I'm coming to a wide-legged fold position. So instead of stepping back to the top of the mat, I'm coming to face my long edge of the mat. Turning both toes to point that direction. Kind of at a 45-degree angle here. We'll take a wide-legged fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Now you can do what feels good here. You can shake out your hips. You can bend into one knee, bend into the other. Bend into both if it feels good. Just doing what feels right. Maybe swaying, maybe reaching for the feet. So many different options here. Choose your own adventure. When you're ready, you can come to stillness. Bend into those knees. Bring the hands to the inner thighs and lift the torso. We're going to take some hip openers here, a little bit of shoulder openers, pressing the right hand into the right thigh. Drop that right shoulder down, straightening the arm. Inhale, center, exhale, drop that left shoulder. Inhale, center, exhale, drop the right shoulder. Inhale, center, exhale, drop that left shoulder. Inhale, center, exhale, release and fold. Take a moment here, shake it out. And then you can bring your hands to your hips, bend a little bit into the knees, and inhale, use the core to rise back up to standing. Now, we're going to do what we did on the right side, on the left side. So you're going to turn to face the left and find your high crescent lunge. So I'm going to come to the ball of the back foot. I'm going to bend into my left knee, square off towards the back of the mat, find my high crescent, and inhale, raise the arms up. Breathing here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, open up to that warrior two on the left. So left knee stays bent over ankle, spinning back foot flat. Arms open. Gaze over those front fingers. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, find that extended side angle, any variation. Use that block if you need it, or take that lateral side bend. Inhale, use the core to rise. Exhale, flip the front palm, reverse the warrior. Check in with that front leg. That lunge is staying solid. Inhale, rise, and exhale. This time we'll just step back to the back of our mat and shake it out. All right, so we're going to take it back down to the mat. You can inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Just gently plant the hands and step back one foot. Step back the other foot, slowly, gently. And then we're going to release down to our bellies. So take your time. Come on down. You can cross your forearms in front of you. Either rest your forehead or your chin on those forearms. We're going to find some frog pose here. So you can bend that right knee out to the side. And it doesn't have to go all the way up. You can bend it down here. But you don't want to go past your hip. So the knee comes out from the hip and the foot comes out from the knee. Trying to create that 90-degree angle. And I want you to breathe here in this half frog. Breathe into that hip and ask yourself what's coming up. Have I released anything? Is there anything that needs to release? Because here's the kicker. We have to feel these things in order to release them. They're not just going to go away without us feeling. So when we open this pelvic bowl, it brings up those things so we can feel and let them die, and then let them release, and then be reborn. Inhale here, exhale, release that leg down and take it to the left side. So bringing my left knee out again, knee comes out from the hip, foot comes out from the knee, and I'm going to breathe here. And I think the concept of the death and the being reborn is something I see a lot in my Scorpio lovelies. You guys are so great at kind of reinventing yourself or letting the old parts of you die and starting fresh. I think that's why you're so mysterious and so wonderful. And just embracing that energy. Inhale here. Exhale, release that leg. Now both legs are straight. You can rock those hips from side to side here. A little release. You can bend those knees, point the toes back towards your butt, and then drop the legs from one side to the other. Whoop, don't kick your stuff. And when you feel good, release those legs down, and we'll spin on over to our backs. Take your time. Move gently, spinning yourself over to your back. Once you're there, we're going to work on some reclined pigeon. We can't be working on that sacral chakra without some variation of pigeon in here. So bending into the knees, foot bottoms come towards the mat, heels are up towards your butt. We're going to take this right ankle and cross it over left thigh. Option is stay right here. Gently press into that right thigh to open that hip. Option to draw the knees into the chest. You can either use a strap here, or you can reach in between that space you just created and pull those legs down. Again, that's just an option. You can also stay with your feet and legs lowered to the mat. Breathe here into these thighs, into these hips. Now gently, if they're pulled into the chest, you can release them, but keep the legs crossed, perhaps even cross them a little more. Bring your arms out to a T position and drop those legs over to the left. So double twist, twist in the legs, twist in the spine. If the twist in the legs feels uncomfortable, you can untwist. Hitting them with a double twist, a great release. Breathing here. And throughout these final twists, just start to, again, take inventory of your Scorpio energy. Where does it show up in your life? How does it show up in your life? How does that concept of death and rebirth show up for you? Inhale, draw everything to center. Exhale, you can unwind the legs, and we'll set up for the other side. So knees are bent, feet bottoms are on the mat, crossing left ankle down over right thigh. Again, option to draw those legs in. You can use a strap or grabbing the back of the thigh, or you can keep the legs down, just gently press into that left thigh. And breathe into this sacral release. Something I think is very important when we start to feel those feelings is to be able to name those feelings. I think where our lovely water signs, and I speak to this as a water sign, we have trouble, we definitely feel, but we have trouble kind of naming and identifying the emotion. And I think if we're able to do that, that's where we're able to kind of truly release it. You know, if you know a demon's name, you have power over it. So I encourage you to look up an emotions wheel. That's a really good tool to help you kind of identify the emotion that you're feeling. I don't know why that just came to me. Just a little tidbit from a fellow water sign. Now you can again release the grasp you have on those legs, but keeping the legs twisted, maybe even twist a little more. Drop them over to the right, arms come out to a T position. Again, that double twist, or again, if the leg twist is uncomfortable, you can uncross them. Take this final release here. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, uncross, unwind, and we'll set up for our Savasana. So tons of options. Take that full corpse pose. That's kind of like a representation of death. If you'd like to take that full corpse pose, if you'd like to get more into the sacral area, you can bring feet bottoms to touch, open up the knees for that Supta Baddha Konasana. Whatever you'd like to set up for your Savasana, this is where I will leave you, my lovely Scorpio babies. I encourage you to spend at least 5 to 10 breaths here. Remember to check your sun, moon rising in Venus, or any of the signs that you feel drawn to that are in your chart, just because you want to do them. This is where I will leave you. I'll see you next time. Thank you.